Lieutenant Jake Mitchell stood frozen in the pristine white corridor of the Zephyrian mothership, his hands trembling slightly as the alien princess approached him with graceful steps that seemed to defy gravity. Princess Zara of the Zephyrian Empire was unlike anything he had ever imagined when humanity first made contact with alien civilizations 3 months ago. Her skin shimmered with an ethereal blue luminescence that shifted like moonlight on water, and her eyes held depths that seemed to contain entire galaxies. Her flowing silver hair moved as if underwater despite the artificial atmosphere, and her tall, elegant form was draped in robes that seemed woven from starlight itself. The war between Earth and the Zephyrian Empire had been brutal and swift. Humanity had put up a valiant fight, but the aliens possessed technology that made human weapons look like stone tools. Jake had been captured during the final battle above Mars, where the human fleet made their last desperate stand now. He found himself aboard the enemy flagship expecting interrogation or worse, but Princess Zara had other plans. She stopped just 3 feet away from him, her luminous eyes studying his face with an intensity that made his heart race. Not from fear, but from something else entirely, something he could not quite understand. "Jake, you are called this name." "Yes?" She asked, her voice like liquid music with an accent that reminded him of wind chimes. He nodded, unable to speak as she moved closer. Her presence filled the space between them with an energy that made the air itself seem alive. "I have watched you," she continued, her head tilting slightly in what might have been curiosity. "Among all the human prisoners, you are different. You show no hatred in your eyes despite our victory over your people. You helped wounded Zephyrians during the battle on Station Alpha when you could have let them die." Why Jake found his voice, though it came out rough, I don't know. Maybe because they were suffering and I could help. Does it matter now that you have won? Something flickered across her alien features, something that looked almost like surprise or admiration. "Your species fascinates me," she said, stepping even closer until he could smell something like ozone and starflowers on her. "You fight with such passion yet show mercy to enemies. You create beauty in the face of destruction. You love so deeply that you would die for others." The princess reached out with one slender hand, stopping just short of touching his face. "Jake, your people call it humanity. This quality that makes you fight impossible odds and still choose compassion. We Zephyrians have conquered 17 star systems, but we have never encountered anything like this." Jake stared at her, trying to process what he was hearing. This was not the interrogation he expected. Was she studying him like some kind of specimen? "Princess?" Zara stepped back and did something that shocked him to his core. She lowered herself gracefully to one knee, her luminous eyes never leaving his face. The gesture was unmistakably one of supplication, of asking, rather than commanding. "Jake Mitchell of Earth," she said, her voice carrying a formality that somehow made his name sound important. "I am Zara, first daughter of Emperor Vex, ruler of the Zephyrian Empire. I command fleets that span the void between stars, and my word can end or spare entire worlds." She paused, and when she continued, her voice was softer, more vulnerable. "But I know nothing of what you call love. Your species bonds in ways we do not understand. You choose your mates not for genetic compatibility or political alliance, but for something you call affection, something that makes you stronger together than apart. We have studied your literature, your music, your art. All of it speaks of this mysterious force that drives your kind to greatness." Jake felt the world spinning around him. This alien princess who could destroy Earth with a thought was kneeling before him, asking about love. "I have been matched with 17 suitors from noble houses," she continued. "None of them stir anything within me. They see only my title, my power, what alliance they might gain. But when I watch you, when I see how you treat others, even your enemies, I feel something I cannot name, something that makes my heart race like yours does now." She looked up at him, and for a moment the powerful alien princess seemed almost fragile. "Jake Mitchell, I am asking you something that my people would consider madness. How can I earn your love?" The silence stretched between them, filled with the hum of alien technology and the weight of impossible circumstances. Jake stared down at this being who represented everything humanity had fought against yet who knelt before him with such genuine vulnerability. He thought of Earth, of the billions who had died in the war, of the friends he had lost. But he also thought of what she had said about mercy, about the wounded Zephyrians he had helped. Without thinking, he had done it because it was right, not because of any grand strategy. "Princess," he began, then stopped. How could he address her? Should he bow? Should he help her stand? "Just Zara," she said, reading his confusion. "When I am with you, I do not wish to be a princess, I wish to be simply myself." Jake took a deep breath, feeling as though he stood at the edge of a cliff, about to leap into an unknown void. Zara, love cannot be earned through grand gestures or displays of power. Love grows from understanding, from shared experiences, from seeing who someone really is beneath all the titles and expectations. She rose gracefully, her eyes never leaving his face. "Then show me," she said. "Help me understand what it means to be human, what it means to love and be loved." Jake looked at this alien princess who had conquered worlds yet knelt before him, seeking something her vast empire could not provide. In her luminous eyes he saw not an enemy, but someone searching for connection, for the same thing all sentient beings seemed to want, to be known and accepted for who they truly were. The war between their peoples had ended with Zephyrian victory. But perhaps, Jake thought, as he reached out to take her hand, perhaps there was another kind of victory possible. One measured not in conquered worlds, but in hearts that found understanding across the vast darkness of space. "I will try," he said, squeezing her hand gently, surprised by how warm it felt despite its alien appearance. "But you should know that love cannot be rushed or forced. It requires time, trust, and the willingness to be vulnerable with another person." Zara smiled, and the expression transformed her face, making her seem less alien and more simply a being seeking connection. "I have time." "Jake Mitchell," she said. "More time than your short human lives can imagine. And if it means earning your love, I am willing to learn vulnerability." As they stood together in the corridor of the enemy ship, Jake realized that sometimes the most unexpected endings were not endings at all, but the beginning of something entirely new. Something that might bridge the gap between species and change the fate of two worlds forever.